The other thing in the news related to impropriety and not getting things done is the Supreme Court. Famously, this summer, there was a draft opinion leaked that told the world that the Supreme Court was going to overturn Roe v. Wade. And in subsequent months, there's been an investigation, and I use heavy, heavy air quotes there, an investigation to get to the bottom of what took place. And then just a few days ago, it came out that we can't find the leaker, we don't know, investigation over, even though they didn't interview any of the actual justices. Everybody else involved had to sign sworn affidavits under the penalty of perjury that they were telling the truth, they had nothing to do with it. But the justices didn't, nor did the justices' family, because there is no code of ethics. There's no code of conduct for the Supreme Court. People who make decisions that impact the lives of 360 million Americans aren't held to the same standards that you are at your job. I'm going to read a little bit from the CNN article entitled "Exclusive. Supreme Court did not disclose financial relationship with expert brought in to review leak probe." The Supreme Court did not disclose its long-standing financial ties with former Homeland Security Secretary Michael Chertoff, even as it touted him as an expert who independently validated its investigation into who leaked the draft opinion overturning Roe v. Wade. The court's inquiry, released last week with Chertoff's endorsement, failed to identify who was responsible for the unprecedented leak. The decision to keep the relationship with Chertoff quiet is a reflection of a pattern of opacity at the nation's highest court, whose rulings affect every American. Now, this relationship is worth $1 million or so to Michael Chertoff. They pay him, the court pays him, has paid his firm about $1 million. So the reason that this stinks is the fact that he has an incentive, he has a motive to do the bidding of the Supreme Court and sign off on this BS investigation. Because if he goes the other way, if he goes against the court, that money very well could dry up. I believe the days of holding in high esteem the Supreme Court of the United States are over. It is an absolute activist MAGA court. You've got your Neil Gorsuch, your Sam Alito, your Clarence Thomas, your Brett Kavanaugh, John Roberts. Used to be one of the worst, and now he looks like a good guy in comparison. It is terrible, and they're shameless about it. The mask is off. They don't care if you know. I'm going to continue reading here. CNN has learned from sources familiar with the arrangements that the court in recent years has privately contracted with the Chertoff Group, for security assessments, some broadly covering justices' safety and some specifically related to COVID-19 protocols at the court itself. The estimated payments to his risk assessment firm for consultations that extended over several months and involved a review of the justices' homes reached at least $1 million. And here we go again, no transparency or opacity, as CNN said it. The exact amount of money paid could not be determined. Supreme Court contracts are not covered by federal public disclosure rules and elude tracking on public databases. They don't have to follow the same rules that even Congress does. And Congress doesn't have to follow the same rules that the rest of the country does. The justices have long cloaked themselves in secrecy to the point of declining to respond to questions about potential conflicts of interest or to reveal information about some court rules and ethics codes or to release timely information about the justices' health and public appearances. This is all gross. If they want to maintain some air of credibility, we need a code of ethics for the Supreme Court. And how we get that is Congress. In the Constitution, Congress is given the power to organize the courts. They could do this. They could have done it last Congress. They could have done it the Congress before. They could have done it the Congress before. But they sit on their hands because it is not in their best interest to rock the boat. It's all a bit much. Again, I would love to see you. Subscribe to me on YouTube, Jesse Dollemore. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore on Instagram, on Twitter, and TikTok. I'd love to see you there.